So welcome to Bleep Everything. 5-element Thai massage for easing frustration. Thanks for hanging out with us virtually today. If you didn't see in the chat, you can offer 1 to 2 words to describe how you're feeling and 1 word you associate with wood, if you'd like, to get us started. So, Sarah, do you want to talk the general theme of the class? You want to open?
Sure. I'm just reading everybody's answers. All right. Yeah. So if you're anything like us, or me especially, you've been feeling a little frustrated with how things are at the moment. I found myself saying, I hate everything for several days. And that was the inspiration for this class. I have since kind of dropped in and found some ease myself until trying to get signed into this class, which brought up a lot more frustration. So I'm primed and ready to offer this content. So thanks for throwing out your words for wood. What element is represented in Chinese medicine by the spring season? Well, vice versa. And the organs that go with wood element are liver and gallbladder. And when the liver and gallbladder aren't functioning as well as they could, we tend to feel really frustrated or even angry and rageful. So the liver likes it when our circulation is flowing smoothly, when all is going well, when we're taking in stresses and stimulus and input, and we can easily process it and move forward with that information. But when we hit our limit, when we hit our overwhelm or our limit of stimulus, our bodies go, Arr! Our engine, the liver engine, shuts down. We grit our teeth and we get tight, right? We get tight in our jaw and our traps and our hips, and we don't want to do anything. And we say, fuck everything, because we just can't process. We can't do anymore. So this class is for that feeling today. So to start, we are going to have you take a moment and close your eyes and get comfortable in whatever way you'd like, sitting or lying down. And we want you to just tune into your body and recognize where you're holding stress, where you're holding tension. And this might point you to a place that you're storing frustration in your body. So get in contact with that frustration. Maybe it's swirling in your mind, but especially if it's being stored in your body, most commonly your jaw, your traps, your side body around your middle, your ribs, and your hips and glutes. Tune into those areas and feel into your frustration. Any frustration that's present or from the past that you've stored in these places. Get in touch with that frustration, and we want you to make a sound. You are maybe with just your friend at home. We can't hear you, but make whatever sound you need to make to get that feeling of frustration or anger up and out of your body. So get in tune with it, get in touch with it, and scream or grunt or do whatever you have to do to let that feeling come up and out.
Even if you feel like you can't get it out, just go ahead and give it a voice. Give it a sound.
The Thai, even if it just comes to the surface, the Thai is going to help you move it through your body. Jen's smiling. Did you do it? She likes it. Great. Fabulous. Sarah, are you seeing everybody's faces? Because I'm not seeing a lot of video.
No, most folks have their video off, and that's totally fine if you prefer to not be on camera. When we start doing partner stretching and tie, if you want to turn your video on, then it means that we can give you support with your alignment and techniques. And my experience on the last Zoom call we did was that the recording only seems to record the speaker's video. So I don't think you will be recorded for posterity if you have your video on. Like, we do make a recording and post that so that you can access it again later. But my thinking right now is that you won't be recorded even if you have your video on, and you can still let us watch you. This is all a work in progress. So if you are really concerned about it, then go ahead and, and you don't want to be on the recording, then go ahead and keep your video off if you like. And I'll see exactly if that worked out the way that I intended, and I'll keep you updated for future classes.
Great. So I hope that helped to bring up that frustration, or maybe start to move it, kind of unlock that stagnation. The next thing we're going to do is a little bit of partner stretching. So find your friend, bring your legs wide and face your partner, and bring the soles of your feet together. So you're in a straddle position facing your friend. Now reach out, cross your arms, and grab forearm to forearm. Sit up as tall as you can. If you are a much different size than your partner, you may have to bring rather than feet sole to sole, you could bring your feet in different places on your partner's legs so that you can have a tall spine, because the tall spine is the important part here. So once you're in that position, take a nice deep breath in, and on your exhale, uncross or let go of one of your pairs of arms and reach behind you so that you're bringing a twist into your torso. Bring a nice deep breath in as you lengthen your spine up to the sky, and then exhale, looking over your shoulder, deepening your twist.
Is everybody seeing a big image of the partner stretch we have in mind on your screen right now?
Unmute them.
They can, yeah, I don't know. It's too many things to juggle, all this tech. So amazing.
So go ahead and unwind your spine, reconnect your arms again, and then unhook the other set of arms with a tall spine reaching up to the sky, and with your exhale reaching back straight behind you to bring a twist into your torso. This is wringing out your liver and your gallbladder and helping to jumpstart your circulation and help your liver do the processing it needs to work through all the stresses and stimulus that's coming at you these days and every day. Take a few deep breaths, kind of deepening your twist each time. And then bring your arms back together. Next one we're going to do is a side bend. So you're going to let go of one pair of arms, reach your arm up and over your body like a rainbow, and then see if you can twist your heart towards the sky, opening up your side body. So take a deep breath and breathe into your rib spaces, making room for your liver, making room for your breath. Take a few deep breaths here. See if you can also lean away, creating a bit of a counterbalance between your two torsos through your straight arms as you're reaching up and over. One more deep breath here. And bring that arm up and over and sweep it to the front so you can reconnect palm or wrist to wrist with your partner. And then letting go of the other set of arms, reaching up and over, twisting your heart to the sky. You can look up to the sky if you want with your head and neck, or you can look down to the floor, whatever feels the best for you, whichever helps you let go of tension in your neck and jaw. Breathing deep breaths into your rib spaces, making room for your breath and for your liver and your gallbladder. You can also make noises here if you feel like you gotta let some things go. One more deep breath and a big ol' exhale. And then on your next inhale, sweeping that arm up and over and around. Now come sitting in your own space. So backing up from your partner. Sarah, I need my video.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're going to bring our legs into swastikasana. So you're going to, let's see if I can do this with my iPad. Bring your legs, one leg in front. Your front leg is bent in front of you, and your back leg, this does not really work with my iPad, turns out. Back leg is also bent with your heel close to your butt. So this is the swastikasana position with your legs. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to get our TFL muscle with our elbow. I personally had to sit on a bit of a bolster to be able to reach myself. So I'm gonna use this flat part of my forearm here, and I'm going to side bend, and I'm gonna take this forearm right into my hip crease.
And you're gonna find the TFL easiest on the side that has the shin to the outside. So one of your shins is tucked in as if you were sitting cross-legged, and the other one is tucked to the outside, kind of like Virasana or hero's pose. So the side with the shin on the outside, since you can't see Sarah perfectly, is going to be where you can get the best access to your TFL.
So how you're going to find your TFL, if you want even more honing in, is feel your IT band here on the outside of your thigh, and run your hand up the outside of your thigh, and right where
your thigh meets your hip, I'm going to fill in for Sarah because she seems to be frozen, is where you want to try to settle your elbow in. And see if you can find something that has a bit of a zing to it. You'll know you hit the right spot when it's kind of exquisitely intense. The TFL muscle, just on a structural level, it kind of does everything. It helps flex the hip. It helps abduct the hip. It also helps with extension when your leg is externally rotated, which for most of us, it is externally rotated when we walk. And it helps with external rotation a bit. So it helps with all but one of the actions of the hip. So it's just constantly overworked. And this is kind of the feeling of wood element in general, is this sort of overworked, overloaded feeling when you just are doing way too much and you start to get frustrated because you can't process everything that's coming at you. So this muscle is like an embodiment, a personification of that kind of energetic emotional experience. So it tends to be really intense and tight on everybody. And we wanted to give you a chance to find it on yourself because we are going to find it in the tie. And it's easier to know what you're looking for if you felt it on yourself first. So give us a little chat or a shout out if you're having trouble finding it. It's probably a little bit more towards the front of your body than you think. It's just underneath the hip bone. And I think you're all having a sort of delightfully intense experience of your elbow in the TFL. And we'll hope that, oh, Sarah is back and I just need to unmute her. Okay. Sarah, you there?
Yes. So I actually get my forearm in the right spot. So I'm finding that if I do this and use this part of my knuckle right in my hip crease and kind of just create a strong 90 degree with my elbow, if I lean this way, now I'm actually getting my own TFL. Whereas with my elbow, I can't quite reach it. So maybe you're also having that trouble. So if you haven't already, go ahead and switch sides. So switch the bend, the direction of your legs. Follow your IT band up the side, the very outside of your leg into your hip crease. And go ahead and try either with that bent arm at 90 degrees or with your elbow. See if you can lean right into your hip crease. The TFL is not on your quad muscle, so that's the thing. If you feel like when you lean with your elbow, you're just going straight down into your quad muscle, that's not the TFL. See if you can come a little bit more at an angle.
Brent, you look like you're nailing it from what I can see. Your video is pretty clear. And Steven's friend also looks like you're right on it. Cool. Okay. So if you would like feedback on your Thai and help figuring out the moves as you're doing it, now is the time to make sure that your video camera is set up so that we can see your mat. Otherwise, you can leave yourself off. Totally up to you. So we're going to switch modes into Thai. One person can go ahead and lie down on their back. You want to orient yourself so that when you are at your receiver's feet, you can see the video. So whatever orientation makes that easy for you. And we can pretty much, yeah, we'll be able to give you feedback no matter what the direction is. Okay. So our sequence is about 23 minutes. We're going to guess 25 minutes with a little bit of stopping to give help as we go. So we still have 50 minutes of class left, so we're running about 10 minutes over at this point. Just wanted to let you know that. So if you do need to go after the first sequence, don't worry, you can find this sequence online later and do it at your leisure if you need to do the second half later. And we are also going to be asking for, I think this class needs to probably be an hour and 15 minutes, or we need to be a little choosier about our Thai sequences. And we would love your feedback about whether you'd rather have a slightly longer or shorter class. Okay, so let's do Thai. Is everybody seeing an image of the Thai at this point? I'm going to unmute everybody so you can give me a verbal yes or no. Is everybody seeing it nice and big?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to mute you all again.
Sorry. Move this and use that yellow pad.
And okay. So get yourselves ready and we'll begin. Okay, for this sequence, you're going to want to make sure that you have a nice firm pillow placed to the left of your receiver's head. You're going to come to kneel between their heels. Take a moment to sit up tall. Invoke your inner tree energy. Imagine your spine growing like a great sequoia straight up from the earth with your inhale. Branches spreading out with your exhale. Inhale, growing taller. Exhale, spreading. Bring your hands together and create a little warmth. Let your eyes open. Take in your friend. And settle your hands down to make a first contact with their feet. We're going to slide our thumbs and fingers to hold their fourth toes for a moment. You can rub the toe between your fingers, kind of roll it between your fingers to warm up this entry and exit point for energy. Traction of those toes. Imagine them sprouting little flowers. We'll let that go and use your right wrist to roll their leg in a little bit and then slide your fingers underneath the ankle to pick that foot up. Find a nice grip on the whole of the ankle and see if you can create a little windshield wiper action with their foot, rotating the entire leg, starting to warm up the hip. We'll let that go. And then bring that foot into your left hand, come up onto your knees and scoop behind their knee with your right hand. Walk forward a little bit and then step your right foot forward into a low lunge. Now we're going to find some circles with the hip by lunging forward and back so that your hips create the motion for their hip. Your arms are just assisting to make this a little bit more circular, but there's very little efforting in the arms. Your shoulders are relaxing away from your ears. And you're finding the range of motion that your friend's hip is willing to make without resisting you. So maybe if you feel a little tension, you can go smaller and slowly work your way into bigger and bigger circles. As you're doing this, see if you can bring your right knee down, keep the circles, and step your left foot across over the leg that's still on the ground. Then put their knee over your knee. So the back of their knee is fitting perfectly over the top of your thigh, close to your knee. Make sure that you're still facing their belly. And then if you push down on their foot, you should see their opposite hip lifting up a little bit. See if you can push down and lunge forward at the same time and create this kind of rowboat rocking action with your friend's hip. Your right hand can help encourage that motion by holding onto the thigh. And I'm rocking forward and back in my lunge, and I'm rowing the boat with my left hand, using their shin as an oar. Just a gentle twist, a little more warming up of the hip joint. Good, slow that down. Scoot that knee nice and close into your hip now. And you're gonna sit back enough that you can bring your left foot up all the way over your friend's belly and snuggle it into their hip. So I'm gonna snuggle my heel into the hip joint. And this feels kind of like a wrestling move, like we're all tangled up here. And the more you snuggle your heel into the hip, the yummier this is gonna feel as you then lunge forward and make circles with your hips. So everybody, try to turn yourself slightly away from your friend so that you're turned slightly out to the side. If you're facing them, your heel isn't going to be able to snuggle into the hip joint. You really want your heel so that your foot is pointing like 45-degree angle away from their torso. So your foot is not parallel to their torso, but turned slightly out. Yes, nice adjustments, everybody. You can keep snuggling that heel back into their hip. And you can lunge out to the side more overhead. Yeah, receivers, don't forget your sign language. Thumbs up means you're happy about what's happening. Tap out means it's a little bit too much for you. And come here, gimme gesture means a little more pressure, a little more engagement. So just playing with this, exploring this bizarre tangle that you're in with your friend. And then see if you can come upright. And if you turn yourself to the right, your knee turns to the right, you'll find that you give your friend, a bit of a pigeon stretch. So I'm rotating his knee out to the side by turning myself to the right. As you inhale, you can let that go a bit. Maybe snuggle that foot back into place if it slipped out. And exhale, turn to the right again. See if you can find this pigeon stretch for your friend. And inhale, let it go. Sit yourself back enough that you can bring that foot all the way up and over again, stepping it over their other leg. And scoot yourself back up so that, again, their knee is right over your thigh. Now's the time that you need that pillow, so you're gonna reach and find a pillow and bring it right next to their ear. Just snuggle it into their ear and the top of their shoulder. So you're not putting it under their head yet.
Place your hands on either side of your friend's torso.
Make sure you have the pillow on the opposite side that you're on. So Jen, the pillow should be on the other side. Yeah, and then I think everybody else looks good.
And right now your right knee is down and your left knee is up. You're gonna switch that. Your left knee is gonna go where your left foot is. So that knee comes down, the right knee comes up, and your right foot is now on the ground. So we've just brought our friend into a twist. Now that we're in this twist, you're gonna reach across to their far arm, and you're gonna lean back with your body, traction it so that it lifts their head up and magically deposits it on the pillow.
So yeah, nice work, everybody. Cool, that can get confusing. Everybody did it great, as far as I can see.
Now we've got them on their side body. Their shoulders are stacked, their hips are stacked. Now we're gonna take this left hand and snuggle it in so that we create a little triangle of your arm, your thigh, and your torso, keeping their leg stuck in between those three things. That's
So Jen's friend, yeah, there you go. Make sure that your thigh is genuinely under theirs. So your left knee is underneath their thigh so that you can trap it there.
stay there. My right hand is going to go behind the back to keep him on his side. My right knee now comes behind the lower back as my left knee comes up and brings his leg with it. So he's on his side with his knee up on my thigh. My right thigh is supporting behind his hips to keep his hips stacked. Now we have this.
So if you're having any trouble, just look at the image here and see if you can just find yourself to that. Let's see, who is that? Is that Laura? Yeah, there you go. Bring that knee up. Yes. Okay, great. Hallelujah. Looks like, okay.
Amazing position to have access to the TFL, this gnarly little muscle right where the thigh meets the hip. So my favorite tool for this is this pointer knuckle. You're going to see if you can find the pointer knuckle in one straight line with your shoulder and slide the knuckle down the IT band. Right when you get to this dip of the hip, you sink your weight in. As you inhale, you're going to ease up. You're going to explore and see if you can find exactly the right spot. It should be a pretty strong sensation for your friend. You might take fingertips on fingertips. You're going to be, if you find the hip bone, it's a little bit below it and a little bit lateral to it. And there's a spot here that's fairly profound. Yeah. Once you find it, you might have an easier time just settling your forearm into that spot. Still on it? Yep.
Jen, if you turn on your side more so your hips are more stacked, he's going to have an easier time finding that spot.
And we're just going to relax into that intensity for a few breaths. If it's not much for your friend, you're probably not on the right spot and you're probably too far towards the back body. You have to move slightly towards the front of the hip. Find one more related spot of tension and settle your forearm into it. I'm going to let that go. Bring the knee down. And we're just going to smush your hip towards the ground so your belly turns towards the ground. You might want to release this bottom arm for yourself. And we're going to lean into the outside of the hip. So hands are kind of like a butterfly. And you're just squishing right in the middle of the hip.
Make sure their knee stays above their hip so their knee is up by their side a bit. Otherwise, this gets a little intense on their knee.
As you inhale, you ease up, find a slightly different spot to squish into the middle of the hip and pour in. One more spot. And then you'll take your left knee across, step your right leg forward, and we're going to walk our hands down the IT band. So you're going to palm, leaning into both hands, down the outside of the leg. So we did a lot of warming up the hip. Now that the hip is warm, we're taking any stagnation that we found in the hip and moving it down the gallbladder meridian. When you get to the shin, you can turn to face the shin and walk down the outside of the shin. Finding different places that your hands fit perfectly. Finding shoulders stacking directly above those hands to pour weight down the peroneals, the outside of the shin. Always feeling free to move the leg to make it comfortable for you to pour into. And pouring down the outside of the foot. Specifically, sweeping off the fourth toe. For the second side, we'll catch this ankle, come back down towards their feet, and just roll your friend back onto their back. Pick up the foot on your left. Find that windshield wiper action, warming up their hip. Put that foot in your right hand, walk yourself forward, step your left foot forward, scoop behind the knee, and then lunge to create some hip circles for your friend. Finding the size of hip circles that will work best in your friend's body. And slowing that down, putting your left knee down, stepping your right foot across, and put the back of their knee right over your thigh, close to your knee. If you push down on their foot, their hip should lift up a bit. If you lunge, it'll lift even more. We're going to do that rowboat action here, warming up the hip. Slow that down. Bring their knee closer to your hip, nice and close. Sit back a bit. Take your right foot all the way up and over your friend, all the way around, and then snuggle it into their hip and come back up onto your left knee and start to lunge and find some circles with your hips. You can keep snuggling your heel back into their hip crease. And go nice and slow and explore this sort of wrestling type pose. I have a friend who does jujitsu, and I asked him what you would call this in jujitsu. He said it's called a 50-50, you're both screwed. Or in Thai massage, you both win. It feels really nice in my body, super easy, and it's a really nice big hip opener for the receiver.
Most of you look like you could turn a little bit more to the left so that your toes are pointing a little bit more away from your friend. Yeah.
And try lunging more towards over their head or more out to the side. Keep snuggling that heel back into their hip. And then come up again and try turning to the left, using your right knee to open their knee out to the side and give them a pigeon-ish stretch. So you inhale, you can ease up. You exhale, turn again. Nice. Go ahead and unwind your leg all the way over again. Bring their knee back up towards your hip. You're going to take the pillow and bring it over to the other side, snuggling it in by their ear and their shoulder. Place your hands down on either side of their torso, and then switch which of your knees is down and which is up.
Everybody is frozen, and I'm wondering if it's me. No, we're all caught up. Okay.
We're going to reach across with the right hand to catch their hand and lean back to lift their head and put it on the pillow. Put their arm down. You're going to take your right hand and lock their leg into place just like we did on the first side. So your forearm is touching your knee to create this little triangle jail for their leg. Now you get this nice perspective of my left hand goes behind the upper back to keep him on his side, and my left knee is going to come behind the lower back as my right knee comes up and brings him into this TFL position.
If any of you are getting frustrated and lost with this transition, it is a bit of a dance. So I would say go ahead and let it go. Just ask your friend to turn on their side and lift their leg up so that you can put your right thigh underneath it and you find that TFL position.
From here, you can find that duck hand. You can go straight to fingertips. Whatever works for you, you're going to slide down the IT band until you feel where the outside of the thigh transitions into hip, and use whatever tool you liked best to sink into the TFL. Fingertips on fingertips is nice. It's nice and supported, and your fingers are really smart, so it's easier to feel with your fingertips. If you've been doing Thai for a while, other parts of your body will start to get smarter, so you'll be able to feel with your knuckles, with your forearms, with your knees. So choose the tool that pleases you, makes your body comfortable, and find some being energy to offer to this spot that's all about overdoing it. And take a few breaths, try to relax your own shoulders as you give. Find some extension in your spine. On your next inhale, gently let that go. Bring their knee down, up close to their belly. So you're going to take your hands to the outside of the hip and just smush your friend towards their belly. Let them slide. As you inhale, you ease up, find a slightly different spot on the hip, and lean your shoulders over your palms. Inhale to ease up, find another spot. Sink right into the middle of the glutes. Then you'll change yourself so you're a little bit lower, and you can step maybe your right leg forward into a lunge so that we can walk our palms down the IT band. Inhale and you ease back into your lunge. Exhale, your hands come to the outside of the thigh and pour. Each inhale, you ease back. Each exhale, you slowly pour. Moving any stagnant energy down the gallbladder line. Restoring flow. You can pour right into the outside of the knee. And then change positions again so that you're facing the shin now, and you can walk your way down the outside of the shin. Down the outside of the foot. Sweeping off the fourth toe. Then catch the ankle, draw your friend back, bring them back onto their back. You can straighten them out, take the pillow out of the way. Pick up both feet, walk in towards your friend. Use your knees to bend their knees out wide to the sides. Do a little bus driver, just rocking side to side. Your arms are straight and relaxed. And then cross their shins. Use your shins to hold them in place. So it's almost like they're seated cross-legged on the floor, but they're lying on their back instead. And your legs are holding their cross-legged for them. You're gonna sweep down their arms and find their wrists.
For most of you, if you take their shins below your knees, you're gonna have an easier time holding them in this position. Yeah, there you go, good adjustments.
And then sit back into a chair pose like you're about to sit down and lean back until your friend comes up. You bring them all the way to seated. Once your friend is in seated, you're gonna come around to the right-hand side. Use your knees to snuggle their shoulder.
So if your friend's back is
Hi, y'all. Looks like we lost Sarah. So we'll see if she can hop back on here. She is the holder of the video. But I can talk you through what it is that you were doing as long as you don't need a visual, because I don't have a partner to get to give this to show you. So some of you are still in that position. All right, receivers, you're sitting cross-legged. Givers, you want to take their shoulder between your knees. So your front foot stays to the side of them, and you're going to hook with the front of your knee and the back of your knee to kind of squish their side body and their shoulder between your legs, and then guide their head to rest on your thigh. That way, they're propped up, and you now can lean over and use your palms, the heel of your palms, on their trap on the opposite side. So the ear that's exposed, come down onto the top of their shoulder and use the heel of your palms to lean in and work out this very tight stress holding area. Move with your breath. So inhale, lift your hand up. Exhale, lean in with a straight arm through the heel of your palm. Your fingertips can gently grasp around their shoulder without doing anything. The only thing that's providing the real pressure is through the heel of your palm, which is pouring weight through your whole arm. So rocking with your breath, leaning in and pouring your weight with each exhale. Finding all the good spots on the top of the shoulder trap area here and the upper back. Wherever you can get good leverage. Receivers, give a thumbs up if you like it. See if I can see you, receivers. Receivers, if your giver needs more information, raise your hand so that I can help guide them. It's hard for me to see what's going on here. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. So you can bring them kind of back so their head stacked over their torso and hips, and then keep contact as you come to the other side and squish up that shoulder and arm. So go ahead and use your front leg around the front of the shoulder and your back leg around the back of the shoulder, and then guide their side of their head to your thigh, a little bit forward, their chin a little forward, ear to your thigh. And then again, leaning forward, using the heel of your palms along the top of the trap and the upper back. Sarah's back, I think. So looks like the video is working. Although I don't hear anything, Sarah.
Is it back?
Now I hear you.
Okay.
Each inhale, you ease the weight up. Each exhale, you find a new spot to pour. You want to make sure that your friend's shoulders are roughly over their hips so they're not leaning too far forward or back. You're pouring straight down in the direction their spine is stacked.
Great. So as you finish up this second side, go ahead and bring, again, their weight, kind of their head over their body and come behind your partner. Kneeling behind them, you can brush from the top of your head down off the tops of their shoulders and down their arms. And we'll end with a little head squish. So as you're kneeling behind your friend, you can bring your arms out, bring their head between the heels of your palms right above their ears. And with your forearms parallel, go ahead and give a squish to the side of their head.